Hey guys, Shane here at Tank and Miniatures, and today we're going to be talking about the World Eaters. Now this has come up quite a bit lately, talking about the World Eaters and their shooting. The last tournament I went to, the World Eaters players were pretty focused on their tank play with their Land Raiders and their Preds, seeing what they can do. And at first glance, I said, wow, that is pretty crazy. These guys have got some crazy stats. But the more I looked into it, I started thinking, well, maybe it's not that great. So let's break it down. So we're looking at the actual rules for the World Eaters. Currently, you've got your blessings of Khorne here. You roll the dice, and then you get the buffs to your units. That's all standard. Now, you're seeing a recurring theme here. Everything is applied to charge, movement, or to melee attacks. Everything is melee based, nothing helps shooting. And to look at helping our tanks, because that's what we look at here, we only look at the tanks. So Goretrek Assault is the closest to a tank formation they have. And it's just a Rhino Rush detachment anyway, but there's a couple of strats here that help vehicles for getting through terrain, and of course doing that the movement forward. But this is it. This is the only way you can support your tanks. This is the only buffs you're going to get. They're only going to get to melee attacks, and funnily enough, they do have a more decent melee attack for tanks than any other tank army has. But of course they do. But yeah, there's no way. They don't have a warp smith or anything. There's no way to buff your shooting. So, even orcs have a good method of doing this. So, it's interesting. So, we're looking here at the profiles. So, as you can see, everything pretty much has rapid fire. The heavy bolters, the las cannons, the Predator autocannon, which did have rapid fire 2, now has rapid fire 6. So everything is overwhelming amount of shots. And like I said, it's very much like orcs. Rather than being accurate, because these guys are hitting on 4s. That's pretty inaccurate for Space Marine levels. But of course they're hitting on 3s in combat, which makes the Land Raider actually pretty decent in combat, which is hysterical. But as you can see, it's all 4s to hit. Yes, it's sustained, not sustained, it's rapid fire, but, you have to get within 24 in most cases, which isn't, that's not crazy. That's generally where you can be firing from anyway. As you can see, the Annihilator's ability is can reroll the wound and damage. Nothing can let you reroll a hit, except for the Forge Fiend here. The Forge Fiend is a standout. In the gaming discords I'm in, the buy swap pages, there's a lot of asks for Forge Fiends of late. A lot of people are, going ham on the Forge Fiends, and that's for a good reason. Because, being able to reroll the hit, you go from a 50-50 chance to hit to more like a 75, maybe more. I'm not good at maths, but that many rapid fire, the Hades autocannon shots, in rapid fire range, 10 shots, re-rolling the hits, that's pretty good. So, I'd say the Forge Fiend is the definite standout here. That is a crazy amount of shots. Like I said, the Predator autocannon is also really cool. It's lost its real ability to debuff though, because what normal Predators have is you take off an armor save, whilst this one just takes off a ballistic shot. So this is more of a so it's the suppressing shot than it is the stripping of armor shot, which I don't feel is as good. That's very situational, but reducing someone's armor, that's always good. So that's interesting they've done that, making someone else's shooting bad like theirs to compensate. I guess in a fun way, it's like if you're fighting in the mud, you bring someone into the mud, you bring them down to your level if they're faster than you. But like I said, it all looks like good. Like the twin las cannon. So it has 3 las cannon shots now. So you're at least going to hit once on odds. And, you know, you're going to do damage some of the time. But let's look at a different army. Let's look at Nurgle. So with Nurgle's latest codex, we had the Mortarian's Hammer detachment. So I'm going to be bringing this at the end of the month to the next tournament, which I feel is probably one of the more powerful shooting factions for Chaos. Because as you can see, with this detachment, you can debuff anywhere on the table that isn't close to you. So, and that's the other thing. You can use a lot of stratagems on your Death Guard vehicles, and it doesn't matter what faction detachment you're playing. There's always something for them to use. So it's very useful. But yeah, as you can see, you can always worsen the saves by getting them afflicted. So yeah, you're effectively either ignoring cover for everything, or you're, making things even worse. And as you can see, you can use your Lord Vigilance as a basic Warpsmith. He can't repair, but he can do damage. Because the Blight Bombardment, that is you basically tag a model. That's like putting a grudge on it. So he can just say, F that guy specifically. And yeah, Death Guard now, alright, reroll all hits or ones. If it's a blast, reroll every hit. And Death Guard have a lot of blast weapons. So this is really helpful. And in my army, I'm only taking one, but you can take multiple of these. I took one just so I can give it the emissions enhancement, just so it's got the lone op. It's not going to get sniped off very easily. But yeah, as you can see, it also gives the reroll 1 as well. So yeah, it's good. It's a good way to buff all your tanks, make a little Death Star around him. And like I said, there's a lot of strats. Here are the main ones that I would sort of try and focus on. Having Assault is really good. The Blighted Land is incredibly good. It is 2 CP, so it is costly. But yeah, if you've got an army that's grouped up together, you can deal serious damage to that. Like, it's a real deterrent for armies that are also trying to stay together to sort of enhance each other's, because that's going to, really negatively affect them. Relentless Grind, of course, just go through terrain, and yeah, the Drawn to Despair, that's a great one, because you can shoot out of line of sight. Oh, you're in your deployment zone. Well, bad luck for you. I've got reroll hit rolls, and most of my weapons are lethal. So, yeah, and if you've got, Nurgle's, the Affliction on them, worse than their saves, it's going to be so hard to defend against all these. So if we look at the Nurgle vehicles, so the main difference is the Predator Annihilator. It has its own Nurgle's special ability, in which case you're striking Afflicted on a 5-up, D3 mortal wounds. Well, actually it's 6 if it's not Afflicted, but in this detachment, pretty much everything is going to be afflicted. You're always going to find a way to hit things that are afflicted. So yeah, you can use this guy to really deal out mortal wounds. Something big, you can just hurt him down. I know I've talked about this in my last Nurgle one, but I just want to compare it to what you were looking at with the World Eaters. So whilst the World Eaters have a lot of shots, you've got ways here to be incredibly accurate, as well as dealing mortal wounds as well. Something World Eaters can't do. So as you can see, you've got lethal hits on the Predator autocannon. So even though you've got almost half as many shots, the fact that you get able to get rerolls though, the fact that you can ensure that even though it's only AP1, it's going to be something more close to at least AP2 and no cover, that's way more lethal. And it has lethal. So, whilst your World Eaters might get through the smaller stuff, the less armored things with its multiple shots, you can take out anything with a Predator Destructor. Like, having lethals is so useful. Like, I miss having lethals on my guard. That was so effective. And the Plague Burst Crawler. As I was saying, if you've got something that's all grouped up around a terrain piece, and you afflict that terrain piece, you send in a Plague Burst Crawler shot, it hits it, then everything around that target, 5 up, it's getting mortal wounds. So you can really punish people in a lot of ways with the shooting attacks from these guys. So yeah, while it's less attacks, it's more accurate and it has lethal hits. And I feel that is better. So you don't need to be worried about World Eaters, you need to be worried about Death Guard. That's what you should be focusing on. So the other thing is Thousand Suns. Now, reading the new Thousand Suns Codex, there's a lot of fun things you can do with this. And on my last video, when we were talking about Thousand Suns, it was explained to me that, you can really reap a lot of damage, because this is definitely a combined sort of force. You can't just take nothing but tanks, you've got to take a fair amount of psychers with it. But when you do this, they buff each other so well. So as you can see, you do your psychic abilities, and again, it helps hitting. You can reroll hits against targets, you can increase armor penetration, just straight out deal damage. Now, once you've done that, with the Warpfire Infusion from the Warforged Cabal detachment, you are now re-rolling. You're getting your full rerolls. It's like the Iron Hands detachment for Space Marines. So you just got to keep a Psycho model around it, and now it's getting full rerolls. So it's incredibly accurate again. And as you can see, there's a way you can infuse your vehicles to have psychic attacks, and that will matter. And you can ignore the penalties to shooting as well. So again, so much more accuracy. Less shots, but more accurate. And when it comes to the vehicles themselves, the Thousand Suns have actually access to the Vindicator, the best tank in the game. So that alone tells you something. So yeah, you got Demolisher Cannon, the Predator Annihilator here. As you can see, if something's been hit by the psychic attack, re-roll the hit roll and the damage roll. So you can use your detachment ability just to re-roll the wound roll. So it's like the Fire Prism for the Eldar, that horribly broken Fire Prism. Your Predator Annihilator is now horribly broken Fire Prism. And the fun thing about the Thousand Suns, everything has that extra AP. So the Combi Bolters, the Inferno Heavy Bolters, everything's AP 2. So yeah, you're even more likely to be effective at dealing damage, because yeah, the save is gone. Because it's one thing to hit, it's one thing to make sure that hit actually does something. The Predator Destructor as well. Yeah, like again, improve, if it's been hit by the Psychic, improve the armor penetration, improve the strength. Going from strength 9 to strength 10, that's a big deal. Because anything toughness 5, well, now it's wounding on a 2. So you can take out big things, and like I said, going from AP 1 to AP 2, that's a big difference. That's a Terminator killer right there. So you go from just being anti-infantry to anti-heavy infantry. Like, really well. The Forge Fiend, I feel, is probably one of the weaker Forge Fiends for the Thousand Suns, compared to the World Eaters one, surprisingly. So all this guy's got, he's got his extra AP, and he does the suppression. It's like, he's not really doing it for me there. He's more of a debuffer than he is a damage dealer. So, again, the Thousand Suns, insanely good at shooting. Yeah, this is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Because, yeah, you want to bring actual Rubicon Marines to go with this, a lot of characters, and you can really utilize a lot of synergy with your units here. I think it's going to be really effective. And lastly, we're talking about just normal Chaos Space Marines. Now, pretty much all the factions are pretty good, all the detachments. Because we were playing on the weekend, we did the Soul Forged one. Just the one where your rituals go off and your lethal and your sustains are now on 5s instead of 6s. Your lethals are higher. Plus you get your rerolls to 1 if you're you get your rerolls to 1 if you're whatchamacallit. So yeah, really effective shooting for them. We all know what they do, so I won't show the stats there. But again, so much effective shooting here. You can just get a Warp Smith, and that just buffs everything. You actually get healing. You get vehicles that are hitting on 2s with rerolls, and you're getting sustained and your lethal. So you can end up having a lot more shots just by your rerolls. There's so many better ways to achieve more shots. So it's really fun to think about. So even though World Eaters have, they on paper, it looks fantastic. It looks crazy how effective shooting they have. But when you dig a little deeper, we already have so much better already. It's not even close in a way. Because yeah, I remember when we ran this at the tournament, and we had Forge Fiends always hitting on 2s, always wounding on 2s, and it was unstoppable. So no, I do not think the World Eaters is likely to have a massive surge in its effectiveness just by bringing big tank armies. Rhino Rush armies is good. Definitely bring that, but I wouldn't expect to rely on just the tank fire. Don't think of it as a shooting army. That's a mistake. You won't be happy because you're going to be relying on just the rolls, just the good rolls only. There's no way to sort of have tricks. There's no way to buff anything. So that's my advice there. So the question is it broken? It is not. It is nothing to worry about. If anything, I guess it's not worse than it was, but were they always hitting on 4s? I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and look at that. But the way they are now, I wouldn't be scared. Be scared of literally everything else, except for Emperor's Children. You don't need to be scared of them at all from shooting. Fighting, yes. Shooting, no. There is no shooting, which is very strange. But anyway, that's the end of this one. I just wanted to go through that and break down what I have worked out for this army. But yep, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.